Hi, my name's Derek, and I'm a professional travel writer. In this video, I'd like to share a loophole I discovered while working in the travel industry. A loophole that lets you book flights which normally cost over $1,000 for just $10 to $20. This works on 63 of the world's largest airlines, including United, Delta, American, and Southwest Airlines, and this works on both domestic flights and international flights. This works even if you don't have a passport yet, even if you don't have any money saved up, and even if you've wanted to take a vacation for a long time and just didn't know how to make it happen. It's already been used by tens of thousands of men and women to book flights for between 95 to 97% below what they normally pay. And while journalists from the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal have scratched the surface on these strategies, as far as I know, this is the first step-by-step video on how to do this. So imagine if you could fly anywhere in the world for just $10 to $20. Where would you dream of going? Would you climb the Eiffel Tower and take in the romantic view as the sun sets over Paris? Would you get a relaxing massage on the luxurious beaches in Bali? Or would you go on an adventure safari in Africa where you'll be greeted by curious monkeys, giraffes, and perhaps even wild elephants? The trip you've always dreamed of taking, whether it's on your own, with a loved one, or with the whole family, can finally be real while paying just a small fraction of what you'd normally pay. For example, here's a flight that Sandra recently booked.
Hey, I'm Sandra and I'm in Koh Phangan, Thailand. I flew Miami, LA, Thailand. In cash, my flights would have probably been around $1,200 to $1,400, and I spent $12.
Here's another example, this one from a flight that I booked. This is a flight from Austin, Texas to Bangkok, Thailand. This trip is divided into two flights. The first one is from Austin to Los Angeles, and the second one goes from Los Angeles to Bangkok. The first flight would normally be $165, and the second flight would normally be $376. So I'd normally pay about $550 for this flight. Now I'm going to log into my credit card statement and show you how I got this flight for free. As you can see here, this is the bill for the two flights that I booked. This is the one from Austin to LA, and this is the one from LA to Bangkok. And here, just a couple days later, is a travel credit for the entire amount, making this 9,000-mile flight completely free. Now, just to be clear, you will sometimes get 100% free flights with this loophole, though usually you'll be paying $10 to $20 in taxes. This works for domestic tickets that are as cheap as $50, as well as international tickets that are as expensive as $3,000. So how does it work? It works using a technique called award stacking. Award stacking is a unique strategy for booking flights which normally cost thousands for just the spare change you'd find in your wallet. It takes less than an hour a month to implement, doesn't add any additional expenses to your life, and can be used to get at least one nearly free flight every 60 days. It even has the side benefit of improving your credit score. For example, here's a photo of my credit score. I started with a credit score of 604 before award stacking, and now I average right around 750. I'll talk more about how this can improve your credit score while getting you free flights, as well as give you the step-by-step instructions for how to do award stacking in just a minute. Before I do, I'd like to share the story of how I discovered this strategy. See, I used to struggle for months just to save up money to travel. I worked long hours at a job I wasn't crazy about. I'd hit the snooze button at least 4 times every morning before dragging myself out of bed, putting on my boring suit, and going to work anyway. Every day, I felt like I died a little bit more inside. And I did this so that eventually I could do what I really wanted to do, which was to go and see the world. Once I finally saved up enough money, I'd take my trip, which would last a couple weeks at most, then I'd return home and start the save money for months process all over again. This continued for years until one day, while on vacation, I happened to meet someone who writes for a travel website. Now, as someone who loves to travel, I was naturally curious about his job, so we spent some time talking. I was blown away by the stories of his adventures and all the places he's been. After a while, I asked him the question that was really on my mind. How can you afford all those flights? I mean, I thought to myself, writers don't make that much money. That's when he told me about award stacking, an underground strategy that lets him travel all over the world for next to nothing. And he'd been doing it for 6 years. I spent the rest of our conversation trying to get as much information as I could out of him while hastily taking notes on my iPhone. I went home determined to continue learning everything I could about award stacking. Unfortunately, it turned out there's very little information online. Sure, there were people talking about it, but everyone was very hesitant to share what they knew. There were password-protected websites, invitation-only chat rooms, rumors that were very hard to separate from facts. I kept digging for over a year and slowly, piece by piece, managed to put the whole award stacking puzzle together. And once I did, my life changed forever. Fast forward to today. I've now traveled 28 countries, and the last few years have been the best years of my life. I've dived with thresher sharks in the Philippines, skied the powder slopes of Poland, and seen the famous sunset in Greece. I learned to speak Spanish in Colombia, danced to my favorite DJs in Ibiza, and learned to make Tibetan dumplings from Tibetan refugees. I finally quit my day job to write about my travels, and, thanks to award stacking, I rarely ever spend more than the price of a Subway sandwich on my flights. The whole world feels like a choose-your-own-adventure book to me now. I can go anywhere I want, anytime I want, without even having to think about the money. That is what I want for you. The freedom to go wherever you want to go. Whether you want to take an extra vacation once or twice a year, or if you want to go on an adventure travel spree like I did, I want to remove all the barriers so you can experience the joys of seeing the world firsthand like I have. So how does award stacking work? How can you take flights normally costing thousands of dollars for just $10 to $20? Well, to explain award stacking, I first have to tell you a little bit about the behind-the-scenes workings of the airline industry and their backroom deals with the credit card industry. This will take about 1 minute, and then the whole award stacking loophole will make complete sense. Ready? Here we go. There's been a heated, multi-billion-dollar battle going on for the last 65 years. It's a battle between the credit card companies. See, most people only carry 1 or 2 credit cards on them at any given time. They use it for groceries, for buying things online, for just about everything. And most people don't change credit cards very often. They tend to use the same card for 3, 4, 5, even 10 years. That's why, for a credit card company, getting you to put their credit card in your wallet instead of a competitor's is a big win for them. Whichever credit card company gets the most people to use their credit card will make billions of dollars. So how do credit card companies try to get you to use their card instead of someone else's? Well, they've tried all kinds of things. They've tried 0% APR, free balance transfers, free concierge service, so on and so forth. But the quote-unquote bribe that we care most about in this video are the credit cards that give out free airline miles. Let me give you a few examples. Here's a Southwest Airlines card offering 50,000 miles. That's at least 5 free domestic flights. Here's a United Airlines card offering 50,000 miles. That's 1 or 2 free international flights. And here's a Delta Airlines card offering 40,000 miles. That's also worth 1 or 2 free international flights. Credit card companies love to dangle these free miles as carrots to win new customers. Once they have you as a customer, they're hoping you'll pay their annual fees and their interest rate payments for 5, 10, 20 years after you join. Don't worry, you won't actually have to pay any fees at all if you do this the right way. So here's the loophole I told you about. These credit card companies are trying to bribe you into using their credit card. So what if you let them? What if you could get these bonuses of 30 to 50,000 miles over and over again and collect hundreds of thousands of free frequent flyer miles and use them to fly all over the world while paying basically nothing for your flights? And what if you could do this while improving your credit score? I've seen my score go up by over 100 points just by using these strategies, and hundreds of others have seen similar jumps in their credit scores by using these strategies as well. Using this simple method, you can stack these bonus award miles on top of each other to get all the free flights you'll ever need. That's why it's called award stacking. So let's get into the nitty-gritty details of how you can do this in your life. All you need to do is follow this 4-step process. Step 1, find the right credit card offers. You want to find credit cards that give you the right kinds of miles while costing you nothing in fees. I'll show you where you can get all these cards in just a couple minutes. Step 2, apply for and receive your new credit card. There's a specific process to this. You can't just apply online or at a bank and expect to get approved. A lot of people get rejected because they don't take all the steps they need to take in order to make sure they get approved. I'll talk more about how to make sure you get approved for the credit cards you're applying for soon as well. Step 3, earn your miles. Typically, credit card companies will offer 30 to 50,000 miles as a sign-up bonus for new cards. That's worth $600 to $1,500 in free flights just by doing this one time. And you can do this once every 60 days and have it be good for your credit score. Now, in order to earn those miles, you typically need to meet a certain amount of money in spending. For example, you might need to spend $3,000 in 3 months before the airline will give you those 50,000 miles. Well, what if you don't normally spend $1,000 a month on your credit card? No problem. I'll show you a bunch of simple strategies you can use to hit those spending requirements and unlock your miles without actually spending any more money.